Sting Jr. is recognized as not only the top freshman on the defensive side of the ball, he's probably in the discussion as one of the top cornerbacks. He was named yesterday as an AP All-American at the midway point of this season. He leads the SEC and ranks number 3 in the country in passes defended with 12 up to this point, about 2 per game. Is this as good as you thought it could go?
Yes, to be honest. I thought that he would do better.
Right.
I thought that he would have more interceptions by now, and probably a couple of interceptions.
Well, he's probably left 2 on the field, huh? Northwestern, he left 1. That's the one he told me.
I say probably 4 or 5 on the field.
Damn.
Vanderbilt, the first 2 passes he should have picked off. That should have been 3 that game. I thought he should have had 1 in Texas. He should have had 1 in Northwestern, almost 2 in the end zone as well. Yeah. So that's how I look.
Do you tell him this?
Yes.
Like when you'll tell? Oh, wow.
Yes. Well, I'm sure he tells you that, right?
No, I tell him first.
Coach, hold him to a high bar.
The picture of the first interception could have not have gone any better. Like the helmet coming off, the celebration on TV. I mean, that pic that I tweeted out, I stole it from your Facebook. But it was just fantastic. All right, what has been the biggest adjustment for him?
Well, probably just the speed, and to understand that it's no longer high school. You're not going to be so dominant. He never failed. Like, he didn't give up any catches from his sophomore year on to his senior year ever. So now you get teams like Florida, Dan Mullen challenging him, things like that. So he had to learn to mentally come back from those things, and he's good with that.
So what was your kind of reaction then? Because to me, that was one of the most impressive things I've seen thus far this season, is that they had the drive where they're going after him, like bam, bam. It's like 4 or 5 plays in a row. They have success. A lot of people could have crumbled there, could have panicked. He did not. And then he ends up coming up, like we said, with the huge play that set up the win.
Well, I always want people to throw at him, because I know his ball skills are off the charts. You know, he's going to be around
Texas
the ball.
Game.
Exactly. And here's the thing: even though Florida was going at him, it's not like he was getting beat, burnt, toast. Some of the words that I've seen, he's tackling guys. They're catching 8-yard routes or comebacks and quick slants. You know, those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you run a route, you know, something to where he can actually get his hands on you and play good coverage, he's going to make the play.
Yeah, you can't go deep on him.
You cannot go deep on him.
Ask Vanderbilt about that.
I mean, he makes up. I think that was the Colin Johnson play that was most impressive, the ground that he made up in closing on the ball.
Yeah, because Johnson had a veteran shove off.
He shoved off. Yeah, I mean, he shoved him off with his left hand, and Sting he recovers 4 yards in 2 steps on the move. And like you said, it was called an interception on the field. I didn't see enough right there on the, like to turn it over. It was as good a play early on in that game that you'll find on a field filled with pros. Did he anticipate Saturday morning Florida coming at him like they did?
Probably not with him. It's just, what's the game plan? This is what we got to do. He don't. If he was thinking that, he didn't talk to me about it.
So does he look at it like Fulton is the veteran and they're going to come at me, or that I am the 18-year-old and they're just coming after the young buck?
His mind doesn't work that way. It's more so like, if I do what I'm supposed to do, maybe I cover them well enough to where they won't throw this way. Or if they do challenge me, here's what I can do in this situation. No panic, you know, just I can cover you. If I can't, then you'll catch a ball.
What's your analysis of the defense on a whole?
I think we're getting healthy. I think that we were missing a few guys early on. We do play a lot of man, so a lot of teams recognize that, to where they can run certain routes on us to where they're man beaters.
Yeah.
And they may throw 50-50 balls as well. And, you know, I would hope they would throw 50-50 against Derek, because he'll come down with it. But outside of that, I think, you know, the fact that we're getting healthy, I think we do need to play a little tighter on the inside at the nickel position at times. If we are who we are, I say if we're a man team, play some man, probably show some different looks with some off man, because it's almost obvious that we're pressing, that it looks like, you know, we're in man coverage. We play off, you know, maybe that gives the quarterback time to think about what we're in.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good point, because last game a lot of people were yelling from the rooftops, like, why are they not bringing extra guys? Why are we in zone? All these other things. And then when they went to more man and adding bodies to rush, well, it paid huge dividends. But to your point, like, you can't always do that. If you become one-dimensional, then it becomes easy to game plan again. So you almost have to force yourself to try to play some zone. I want to ask you about practice because you were kind of talking about it a little bit. Stingley's practice habit. So during practice, Stingley and Jamar Chase are constantly matching up with each other?
Most of the practices, I want to say about maybe 80% of the time, if it's any one-on-one matchups, it's those two.
What are those battles like?
It's like the price of admission. You want to be there. You want to check them out.
They have that lore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you talk to like guys like Cody Worsham, who's a digital reporter for LSU, and then you talk to like coaches who were in there. Like Blaine Gaucher was telling me, he was like, "Coach, the whole practice will stop, and they will all like focus on one-on-one with those guys." And it is, it's like iron sharpening iron.
Right,
You're like looking at two guys. I think Brady told you and I, right before the season, he said those two were going to be 5 years from now. They'll be the best at their position at the NFL. You know what I mean? Jamar Chase will be a top 3 wide receiver. Sting should be a top 3 cornerback in the league 5 years from now, and you got both of them on the practice field at LSU.
Well, and just look at where they both rank statistically right now in college football. They're both the top of the SEC leaderboards. They're both like top 5, top 10 in all the national leaderboards. Yeah, having those, it is the ultimate cliche, iron sharpening iron, so one man sharpen another. These two are getting each other ready.
What have you made from him in special teams in the punt return?
I think he's doing what he can do. He's going up against a lot of good punters that's putting the ball. He got some real good hang time. You know? I always say, please don't let this be a good hang time. Please don't, because I just want him to return it, and he wants to return as well. You know, he understands the whole issue with last year where there wasn't a lot of returns. It was more so fair catches than anything, and he wants to get an end zone.
Well, I would say this though, even the bigger problem last year though, there were a lot of fair catches, but it was still. It was sometimes letting the ball drop and roll. It was fair catches when you didn't have to. One thing that Sting has done a really good job of is discerning. Okay, when do I have to call a fair catch, and when can I try to make a play?
He wants to return.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to the opponent at that point. It's been it's been good kicks.
And that's the mentality you want your returner having. I mean, like you want him to be a playmaker back there because LSU, for whatever reason, had just become inept at that position over the last couple of years. They had no. They were no threat, and I think that he's an instant threat.
How fun was Saturday night for you in that stadium?
Wow, that was unbelievable. Dude. Okay, my very first LSU football game was the Hester game with the 4.
Okay, back in 07.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was inside of one of the little
club, the suites,
so I couldn't really hear the crowd. But sitting where I was sitting Saturday, it was like deafening. I was like, this is unbelievably wild.
I lost my voice just talking to people in the press box who were like Doctor said, like 6 inches away from me.
All right, so you've been watching football differently your entire life. Your dad, your old man played, and you've coached Derek. What's it like being a dad in like with 100,000 people? You're in the stands and you don't have because I saw you guys interact on the football field in high school, and you just have this whistle where he can be in the corner of the field and he can find you. I doubt that he can do that. Like on a Saturday night, you can't just blare this whistle and him find you.
Well, what I do is I try to get in early enough for warm-ups, and I actually do that whistle so he can find me, so that if he needs to look up, he'll know exactly where I'm at.
Right.
But it's different being a dad now because I'm more emotionally involved in the game, where before it was more so I'm trying to call plays. I'm making sure that we're doing the right thing as a coach. So now if he's down, I kind of feel it a little bit like the Florida game where they called 3 balls in a row on him. I was like, whoa, I've never seen that. And I was like, come on, son, you can make a play. And then 2 series later, there you go with the big play. And it was like, I'm going just as crazy as everyone else on the field. My wife said, I've never seen you get that hype for a play ever.
Which has got to be awesome.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy.
It's got to be so much fun to have that, just kind of lose yourself in the moment of watching your kid play big-time college football. So he's the best freshman in America. Did you anticipate that? Did you think that, after everything that's happened the last 2 years with him in recruiting, obviously when he gets there, you still have questions, but to see him fit in and really shine, where do you fall in line on that?
Well, he's still got a lot of ball to play. He may be the best freshman in America as of today. He just still have to be consistent. I think he needs to make more plays, believe it or not. There's 2 plays I want
High bar.
There's 2 plays I want to see him make. I want to see him return a punt for touchdown because I want him to open up. I want people to actually really see how fast he is. And I want to see a pick 6. I really do from him. So
he wants the speed. He wants the speed to be on display. So if you just joined us, talking to Coach Derek Stingley Sr., talking a lot about his son, Derek Stingley Jr., the ride that it has been. You saw he made the athletic All-American list mid-season.
I had a lot of people texting me all those things yesterday. I was like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild, man. Big couple weeks coming up. Mississippi State this weekend, Auburn, and then obviously Alabama. Where's your head at going into the second half of the season? Just with this LSU team overall, what's your evaluation of him?
I think we're going to be fine. You know, with the offense that we have, I think that it's going to be tough for anybody to stop us. Yeah. Number one, defensively, I think that, like I said before, we're starting to get healthy. We're starting to get guys back. I think that we're coming together as a unit because we hadn't had this unit probably since the first 2 games of the year. And then after that, when Texas, a lot of guys started going down.
That is one of the key areas me and Brody talk about a lot on the podcast that was maybe overlooked is that you're 7 deep on the D line now.
Yeah.
Like you got 7 guys and you saw that pay dividends. You were fresh. Like in a game where you were on the field for 84 plays and 4 drives of 75 yards, over 10 plays, like that could have been a killer. The same way the 19-play drive at Texas was a killer. But because of the newfound depth, you were as good in the last 2 minutes as you were in you maybe even better.
Justin Thomas and Neil Farrell have given them a dynamic on the defensive line that have really neat. What do you make of the other 2 freshmen that are contributing in Flott and Jay Ward played a lot the other night?
Yeah, how about Jay?
Well, Flott is he's so quick and explosive. I know he didn't play as much last game, but
he's still a little lingering injury issue.
But Jay Ward, he's so physical for his stature. You know, he can move people out of the way, and he loves to tackle.
The man, Derek Stingley Sr., the Dunham School has Episcopal this week at home on a Friday night. Coach Sting, of course, up there calling a defensive back coach calls the defensive plays with Randy Linedecker over there at the Dunham School, and Coach Neil Weiner doing a fantastic job. Sting Jr. will be at Davis Wade Stadium versus Mississippi State for a 2:30 kickoff as the undefeated Tigers take off for Starkville this weekend. I imagine a big week. So Friday night Episcopal, Saturday morning, early morning to Starkville.
Weekends are always like that for me now.
Good, man.
Guess I gotta get ready for the cowbells now, huh?
Yes, indeed. You better pack some earbuds. It's good to see you.
Same here. Thanks, guys.
There he is,
Always
Coach
fun,
Derek
Coach.
Stingley, checking in with his son, Derek Stingley Jr., announced yesterday as a midseason All-American. We'll continue the LSU football discussion next here with Brody Miller on OTB.